Hi. If you're a baby boomer or Gen X homeowner and you're planning on putting your home on the market in the next 6 months, year, maybe even longer, you're going to want to hear what I have to talk about in this segment. Things I'm going to go over with you and give you insights into could save you a lot of time, could save you a lot of stress, and hopefully could save you a lot of money. I'm going to talk about why staging is really no longer an optional thing if you want to get the biggest return on your investment. I'm also going to talk to you about how the different generations have different mindsets and different viewpoints when it comes to buying and even selling for that matter. Lastly, we want to go over how you, as a homeowner, can set aside maybe some preconceived notions and outshine the competition. This coming spring market is hopefully going to be rather robust and busy. There's going to be a lot of houses available, and you want yours to outshine and stand out over every other one so you get a fast sale and you get the best dollar at the end of the day. Some people say that younger buyers just lack imagination. I don't really think that's true. I work with a lot of younger buyers, and they do have imagination. They do have insights into what they want, but their priorities are different. They're not necessarily looking at the long haul where they're going to buy a fixer-upper house, put some sweat equity into it, enjoy it for a while, and then move on maybe in 10, 15, 20 years. The shortened amount of time it takes to buy a house is very appealing to them. Most people don't stay in their houses more than 5 or 7 years. So the idea of buying a house and then fixing it up and spending a lot of money over time to spruce it up and make it into something else just isn't as appealing. Also, a lot of these folks are dual income. They have families to take care of, they have busy jobs. So they don't have the freedom in many cases to do the things that you and I did 20, 25 years ago when you bought your house. So I don't think it's so much a matter of lack of imagination as it is a different lifestyle. And this lifestyle does make it more important to have things move quickly and be ready made than it did some time back. Many of the buyers these days are comparing your house to what they see on HGTV and online, and it's important that you measure up to that standard and not the standard that you may have stood up to when you bought your house. Staging comes down to marketing and merchandising your property. Corporations spend millions of dollars determining what their packaging looks like to make it the most appealing and most desirable to the consumer. And that's basically what staging does. It's a smaller scale, it's more local, but that's exactly what we're doing. So we're merchandising, we're sprucing up your house so that when the buyer does see it online, he looks at that house, your house, before he looks at others, and he decides to come see it rather than swipe and move on to the next one. So staging is important. Many times your first exposure on the market is through online pictures. That is far and away the most exposure that you can get in that first few days or a week of marketing your property. Having it look hot online, having it pop, having it professionally photographed, having it staged makes it look great online. And that means you might get some people actually coming to see it. And that's what's really important. It's not uncommon for buyers to walk into a house that they've seen online and liked it and then gone, well, I was kind of disappointed when I went in. So you want to stage it realistically, you want to stage it carefully, and you want to make it look as real as possible. That's part of the reason why virtual staging is not really something I can get behind because it may look good online, they come see it, and then when they get there, they're kind of disappointed. So you don't want to do that. You want to make your house real because that's what's going to have the most impact. Now, the benefits of properly staging house can mean and can result in a higher sale price and shorter days on market. And that's extremely important in times like these when you want to get the house moving as quickly as possible. So, the first thing you want to do is make your house look really good online. You want to make it pop, you want to make it appealing, you want to make it look as close to HGTV as possible, and set aside your notions that my house is very comfortable, it's pretty. That is all true, but it may not appeal to the people that you're going to be selling to, and that's even more important. Now, a good stager will already do this, but you should start thinking with it in the event that you don't stage and your furnishings are adequate to market properly. And that is, you want to declutter a lot. In many cases, you want to remove 30 to 40% of the furniture. Get it out of there, get it out of the way, store it somewhere if you can. Sometimes garage is fine, but you don't want to overstuff that. But you definitely want to move out a lot of the things that you're accustomed with. You want to make this house look open. The more things you have in it, the smaller it seems. And that's really important to people. Their space considerations are affected by what is in the home in front of them. A lot of you have overstuffed sectional sofas, either in the family room, the living room. Get rid of it, or at least get rid of sections of it. You want to downsize and make it so there's a clear pathway to get through whatever space you're in, so that it doesn't feel like the furniture is overcrowding and making it look like there is just no room for people, especially when the photo's online. Another thing you want to do is get the personal stuff out of there, or at least get it to a real minimum. I've seen buyers go through a house and they spend 10, 15, 20 minutes looking at books on the wall, photos, plaques, religious certificates, religious items, things like that. There's nothing wrong with any of these things, but it becomes a distraction. When you have a buyer coming in your home, you want them to look at the home. You don't want to get them involved in what you own, what you think with, what you read, things of that nature. You want to get them to look at the house. You want to get them to look at the space. You want to get them to look at the usability of the space. You want to get them to look at the flow and that sort of thing. So the pictures of the grandkids are wonderful, but I'd take them out. Certificates of graduation, move them away. There's a lot of furniture that's blocking the walls. Get that out of there. A couple of key areas when it comes to getting a house ready for market are space on the walls, what do the floors look like, and the overall decluttering. So you want to declutter a lot, more than you even think. Make it a minimalistic look in the final analysis. A couple of particular things that you might want to get out of there are religious items. There's nothing wrong with religion, and I don't ever look down upon someone who professes their religion, but those items can be a turnoff for someone. And political things. We live in a very, very, very politically charged area. So the last thing you want to do is sway someone against you because of political preferences. So you usually want to get those out of the way as well. Another really important thing is take the window coverings down, take the blinds, roll them up. One big mistake that home sellers may make is leaving big, heavy window treatments up. Now, people have some very beautiful curtains in their homes, and they're lovely to look at, and they add a layer of warmth in terms of aesthetics to the property. However, they block light, they detract from the space in the home, believe it or not, and they should come down in most cases. Most agents will recommend take down the curtains, take down the blinds. If you have curtains, put sheers up. Take down the window screens. All of these things block light to one degree or another, and then wash the windows. Get them cleaned professionally. So take down all the stuff. It blocks light. It blocks the person's attention. It makes the home seem darker, even if it does have a good, adequate supply of light. So take them down, get them off, get them out of there. Here's another really simple thing: fixtures. You've got old light fixtures in there, they look old. You want to take them down and you want to replace them with something newer, something modern, something sleek. And you want to do it on a budget. And honestly, you can get light fixtures that look incredibly custom and incredibly modern and incredibly up to date for not a lot of money. You can spend a few $100 on light fixtures, doorknobs, drawer and cabinet pulls in the kitchen, those sorts of things, and move to the newer colorings. Bright, shiny chrome is not necessarily the best thing. Now people are moving towards the darker finishes, particularly in the kitchens and the baths. So you want to contemporize those things, and none of those things are terribly expensive when it comes to the amount of money that it might bring in at the end of the day. If you've got oil rubbed bronze fittings, get them out of there. Yellow glass pendants, lose them. You want to replace things with modern, with neutral tones, clean, simple lines, and matte black or brushed nickel is what most people are preferring these days. Don't ignore the paint. The biggest mistake you can make, and probably the least expensive in terms of return on investment, is ignoring the paint. When you start taking things off the wall and moving furniture around, you're going to see things on your walls in a house that you feel is immaculately kept, and you're going to see framings around the sofa. You're going to see where the picture hung. You're going to see the dirt around the light switch. You want to paint your house. It's one of the most effective ways of getting buyers interested in your home is give it a clean, fresh finish, new paint. There are colors that are recommended. There are different finishes that are recommended, and you can talk to your agent about what's best for your particular scenario, but don't forget the paint. I mean, quite frankly, the return on investment of a simple paint job could be 2 or 3 times the amount spent. Now, another mistake that can be made is to offer a credit. You've got worn carpet, you've got worn hardwood floors. Oh, we'll give them a decorator credit. We'll give them 5 grand. We'll give them 10 grand. That's not going to work. First thing, if you advertise that, it already tells people that your house is a bit under the weather. Secondly, people tend to think with 2 or 3 times the amount of money that you're going to give them. So if you say, I'm going to give you 5, they're already thinking it's going to be 10 or 15 to do what they need to be done. So don't skimp. If your house needs the floors refinished and you can pull it off before you put it on the market, you should absolutely do that. If the carpet needs to be replaced, just do it. Don't try to give a credit. Don't try to make it look like it's going to be okay, because it's just not going to be okay. People are not going to not going to like what they see, and they're going to knock a peg down for everything that they see. And then there is a whole list of little things that people just sort of ignore, but actually can have a pretty big impact. I mean, leaky faucets, broken door handles, loose railings, dirty vents, paint, as I mentioned before, broken tiles, fogged windows. Many of these things can be taken care of at a pretty inexpensive cost compared with the amount of return on them. And the more things that you have in your house that are looking dingy or make the house look like it wasn't cared for, it affects the buyer when they walk in the door. Even if they got in the door, even if the photos make it look great online and they walk in the door and it feels tired, it feels worn out. It is very common to get feedback on a listing that is not up to the buyer's expectations. And one of the comments will often be, it feels tired, it feels worn. And that could cost you 10, 20, 30, $40,000 depending on the price range you're looking at. So don't ignore the little things. People worry about the big things. They worry about the roof. They worry about the foundation. And those are all things that need to be contended with. But the little things can add up as well. And they can add up to way more than it might cost you to spend. Closets. Thin out the closets. People are going to open them. If your closets are full, you're telling people there's not enough room in the house. And so why would a new buyer want to buy it? So that's another thing. Empty out the closets, thin them out. If there's things that you haven't looked at in 25 years, you're probably going to get rid of them anyway, so just do it now. But clean out the closets, thin them out, make it look like there's room to spare in your house, because that's what people are looking for. They're buying a house for the space. Space needs to be open, it needs to be clean, and the storage needs to be plentiful enough that they can actually feel like they can use it down the road. So, in downsizing and selling your house to the next generation, you can be successful. If you bought your house back in the 80s and 90s and maybe even earlier, it was a different time. It took a lot longer to get the mortgage. The buying public was more forgiving in terms of condition because they didn't mind having a fixer-upper. Now it's a different time, and you have to sell to the public that's willing to buy, not the ones that you thought would buy 30 years ago. So do these things, stage it, clean it really, really well, declutter, downsize, move the furniture out, clean out the closets, put some money into it, 5, 10, $15,000 if you can afford it, and that will give you a return. And if you can't afford it, there are means to getting repairs and fix-ups done to your house. And in some cases, you can take care of that at settlement. Talk to your agent about that. There are options out there. Sometimes they're a little bit costly, but the cost of having done it may not compare to the amount you're going to get back. So you might want to consider that when you're looking at your different options. Bottom line, if you're downsizing, you can win in this market and any other market. You can compete. Just do what you need to do, not what you think you need to do. Follow your agent's advice, make your house look hot online, market it well, merchandise it like a pro, and you'll come off counting your change all the way to the bank. Good talking to you. Talk to you soon.